Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Reduce your ping time, get faster speeds when you game at expressvpn.com/inside. Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's weekend roundup time. I'm back. I told you I would be back. I told you. I hope y'all were nice to Evan while I was gone. I got a haircut. Looking way more corporate now, but that's all right. Still BG. Let's do the news. So, Pokémon Unite released this week. Good news, it's free to start. Bad news, it's free to start. You know the rest. Terrible, terrible monetization practices for a game that children are most certainly going to play. What could go wrong? Probably a lot of stuff, but let's dig into what is so bad specifically about Pokémon Unite. The MOBA, where you can play as a variety of Pokémon, is, like I said, free to start, but almost immediately after you finish the tutorial, you have to go to the shop to, of course, buy more Pokémon to play with, aside from the one you start out with. Then they give you a second one pretty quickly, but you still need more, the sort of the higher end, your Garchomps. I like that name. Others are expensive. Cue the multiple shops, cue the multiple currencies. Of course, you know how this goes. So the game has a bunch of different currencies. Aos coins, you earn those by playing the game. It also has Aos tickets that you get through season rewards and events. Then there's Aos gems, which, there it is, cold hard cash. Yep. A set of 490 gems, which is enough to unlock some, but not all of the current Pokemon, will run you about $8. Although if you're a first-time buyer, you get twice the gems for that cost. That's how they get you. Give you a little extra taste for free. But after that little bonus of Pokemon, basically it's going to run you about $8, unless, of course, you buy a bunch of gems, then it's cheaper. There's also cosmetics. There's different outfits for your Pokemon. The world needed hip-hop Pikachu, I guess. The usual stuff. But in one of the game's multiple shops, you can also buy items that affect your performance in the game. Oh, shoot. Here we go. Like an attack weight that boosts your attack after you score a goal. Now, it is important to note that those performance boosters can only be purchased with coins and tickets, not gems, so not real money. Oh, and on top of that, there's Battle Pass too, so you have to buy that with real money too, naturally. It's obvious the game is going down a bad road. Well, it's starting down a bad road. They haven't started going, they've started on a bad road, and they're gonna go further down it when it comes to monetization, especially for a franchise that's aimed at least partly at kids. And lots of people are pointing to the fact that, like I said, it's co-developed by Tencent. No stranger to this type of tactic. Now, over on the Nintendo Switch subreddit, they're already sounding the alarm about the game. User Not Nathan Drake, who says they're a mobile developer, talked about how games like this have to kind of strike the right balance between microtransactions and players actually enjoying the experience. But they said Pokemon Unite is way off that balance, like in a concerning and highly predatory way. They added that the process of unlocking characters feels super slow. They use the term glacial, writing, "I played 15 games so far and received 0 gems for any part of the experience and enough soft currency to buy 1 character." Yikes. Destructoid also complained about the glacial pace of rewards. They also use glacial. Is glacial the word of the day in like a calendar or something? They noted that outside of challenge rewards, which are limited, coins, the free currency, are capped at 2,100 per week. Pokemon range from 6,000 to 10,000 coins right now, so my first day has mostly consisted of mirror matches. Nintendo Life also said they've seen a fair amount of negativity in their own comment sections and social media in terms of people's response to the game. Some people not liking the free-to-play model, as the idea of being consistently targeted for microtransactions doesn't sit well with everyone. Yeah. Now, we have seen monetization in other Nintendo games, especially on mobile, obviously Pokemon Go, but yeah, this feels like a new step for them, a bad new step. And I played it, I've got probably like 12 games under my belt. It's fun. I mean, it's a very easily accessible MOBA. I like MOBAs, but man, the monetization feels shady. All right, we're gonna get to the rest of the stories in just a second, but first, guys, this episode is sponsored by Purple. Let's talk about them. Our summer's extra hot right now, especially here in Texas. It is brutal. Even like up in the Pacific Northwest, it's like 100 degrees. In Canada, have they ever seen that kind of temperature before? This time of year, it feels like the world is out to keep us from sleeping decently. But when you have a Purple mattress, the world can throw anything at you and you'll still sleep comfortably, because only Purple has the Grid, this technology made of stretchy gel material that somehow feels supportive and cushiony and lets air flow through like a mattress that breathes, so you can sleep cool even when it's hot enough to make the sidewalk a teriyaki grill or a teppanyaki grill. Whatever grill you want. It's hot out there. You get it. You're smart. You get it. I love Purple products. I like the pillows. It keeps my neck stabilized. I don't get cricks in my neck. The mattresses, they are a joy to sleep on. Purple is comfort reinvented. Right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/roundup10. Use promo code roundup10. That's purple.com/roundup10. Promo code roundup10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/roundup10. Promo code roundup10. Terms apply. All right, let's get to the rest of the stories. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention, but we got a new MMO champion out there. The long-awaited World of Warcraft killer is here, and it's Final Fantasy XIV, apparently. It's true. The game, which it's honestly been great for years, actually. I love Final Fantasy XIV. It has blown up when it comes to being popular, so much so that it has overwhelmed the game servers, and it's causing sellouts of digital copies. Yes, digital copies. The YouTuber SkillUp noticed that it's gotten so big, the game is sold out on the Square Enix store, so you can't buy a digital copy, and you can't create new characters on North American servers. SkillUp said this is absolute insanity. Why is this happening? Well, lots of people don't like the newest patch for World of Warcraft, the 9.1 patch that launched late last month after the game had gone more than 6 months without any new content for the Shadowlands expansions, and big influencers like Asmongold have been talking up Final Fantasy XIV. That's done a lot too, so it's seen a flood of new players. Engadget reported some North American servers were at max capacity for up to 7 hours at some point last weekend. Average queue times were around 10 to 20 minutes. That is a lot. I checked on Twitch. We can see that the game's concurrent viewers spiked at 419% for June. That's nuts. It's now to the point to where they've had to change their policy. They're kicking AFK players to free up space on the servers. What's even funnier is Final Fantasy XIV is also kind of going through a content drought right now. The Endwalker expansion isn't due out until the fall, but the game has been chugging along. A bunch of WoW players clearly looking for something new, so here we are. It's a good game. I'm glad it's getting more attention. Did you guys hear about the Switch OLED model? Well, I just did. I've been on vacation, so I didn't know about it. I was busy getting a haircut for 2 weeks. Kind of a letdown for gamers who were expecting a little more power and not just a better screen and an Ethernet port. Well, Nintendo is saying that's all we're getting for now. No beefier Switch Pro, so yeah, I guess all those Bloomberg reports that they've been doing for years are wrong. Nintendo actually got mad at Bloomberg for saying that the upgraded Switch was going to cost $10 more per unit, despite that it's $50 more at the cash register. Nintendo took the very unusual step of calling that story out, saying it was incorrect. They also said in a statement, "We also want to clarify that we just announced that the Nintendo Switch OLED model will launch in October 2021 and have no plans for launching any other model at this time." Oh well, I pre-ordered a Steam Deck, so I'm good. Man, I missed a lot of news when I was out. That Steam Deck looks sweet. Speaking of Nintendo, a leaker has revealed that some games from their biggest franchises could be on the way soon. Now, take it with a grain of salt. It's a leaker, but I'm not above reporting some leaks. This comes from the known Nintendo leaker, Mark O'Maro, who unleashed a tweet storm recently and claimed that some Metroid and Zelda games are in the works. They said the long-awaited Metroid Prime collection is actually ready to go, should be released in the first half of next year. Why not release it this year? We could use some games on the Switch. They said we'll get a first look at Metroid Prime 4 later on, that it's only about 65% complete. That's actually more than I thought. They also said a new Donkey Kong game is coming out next year. They also said Splatoon 3 should release early next summer. They said a new Kirby game will also come out next year. They described it as a 3D adventure with RPG elements. As for Zelda, they said that remasters of Wind Waker, yes, and Twilight Princess, slightly yes yet. Twilight Princess is okay. They're complete, apparently, waiting to be released at some point in the future. They also said that a remake of Oracles of Ages and Seasons is in the works. It's scheduled to drop sometime between 2022 and 23, so next year will be busy. They also had some Pokemon news, said that Detective Pikachu 2 will have a trailer debut next year alongside the first game that's going to get ported to the Switch. They also said a Gen 9 game is unlikely to happen next year. So there you go. All right, let's talk about Skull and Bones. Some good news and some bad news about the game. Good news, it's reached alpha. Bad news is it's only reached alpha after 8 years. Kotaku published a doozy of a story talking about the game's long development process. They reported that the game began life as a planned multiplayer expansion to Black Flag that we all know, before morphing into a MMO spin-off called Black Flag Infinite. Then it morphed into a new IP, Skull and Bones, but it's apparently taken multiple different forms, like a ship-based multiplayer shooter, a live service game with survival-like elements, one apparently involved a floating base called a cathedral on water. It's also vacillated between you playing as a pirate and just controlling a boat, so it's all over the place. It's also cost a lot of money, an estimated $120 million at this point. One source told Kotaku that anyone else would have canceled the game at this point repeatedly, but other sources said there is a deal between Ubisoft and the Singapore government that has forced the project to stay alive because Ubisoft Singapore, that's the studio developing Skull and Bones, needs to launch original games to get subsidy payments. So there you go. As you might imagine, there's also been a lot of staff leaving, reports of a toxic work environment, basically the whole 9 yards. All right, time for a 5-second review. I'm 45. I don't want to think about anything involving the phrase death's door. It's a little more real these days. Good game, though. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Immerse yourself in a dramatic yet charming and witty world of evidence gathering, deduction, and courtroom battles with this double pack of the adventures of rookie lawyer Ryunosuke. Comes to PC, PS4, and Switch July 27th. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Take to the skies. Experience the joy of flight in the next generation of Microsoft Flight Simulator. The world is at your fingertips. Travel the world in amazing details with over 37,000 airports, 2 million cities, only one security checkout line though. Ba-dum-boom. 1.5 billion buildings, real mountains, roads, trees, rivers, animals, traffic, and more. It comes to the Xbox Series X July 27th. Next up, Neo, The World Ends With You, the long-awaited new story in The World Ends With You series. It's here. It's finally arrived. Well, it's coming out in a few days. Rindo comes to the grim realization that his life is on the line when he is forced to compete in the so-called Reaper's game. There's no telling how this tale will unfold, but it's up to you to find out. Put your psychic prowess to the test as you duke it out on the stylishly animated streets of Shibuya. Comes to the PS4 and the Switch July 27th. SkyDrift Infinity. SkyDrift Infinity is an action-packed arcade game focusing on the experience of flying alone and with others in a light, quick, fast-paced style. Comes to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch July 27th. Tribes of Midgard. Heads up, the giants are coming. Mythical creatures, deadly spirits, and gigantic brutes threaten to bring on Ragnarok, the end of the world. We know, we watch Thor. Form your tribe of up to 10 and become Viking legends in this action survival RPG of gigantic proportion. Comes to PC, PS5, and PS4 July 27th. Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 Pixel Remasters. You've seen those. The batch features updated sprites and a reworked soundtrack, among other modern tweaks. It comes to PC July 28th. Unbound, Worlds Apart. Summon portals to overcome vicious beasts, devious puzzles, and fiendish platforming challenges. Master the unique powers of each portal to stop the collapse of reality while exploring lush, hand-drawn worlds and unraveling a deep narrative full of mysteries. Comes to PC and Switch July 28th. Arcsmith, become an Arcsmith. What's an Arcsmith? Assemble essential items of the future using a library of modular pieces with Master Arcsmith Korath Din as your reluctant mentor. Sounds like my guidance counselor. Watch your quiet station become the focal point of an intergalactic power struggle that could determine the future of the universe. It comes to the Oculus Quest July 29th. The Ascent is a solo and co-op action shooter RPG set in a cyberpunk world. The mega corporation that owns you and everyone, the Ascent Group, has just collapsed. That's a bummer. It comes to PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One July 29th. And last but not least, Eldest Souls. Fast-paced and brutally challenging, Eldest Souls is a unique boss rush, Souls-like experience. In a final act of vengeance, the old gods have released a great desolation upon the world. Mankind's only hope lies with a lone warrior and his great sword of pure obsidian. It comes to the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch July 29th. That's all the news I got for you this week, guys. It's great to be back. Hope you're having a good weekend. See you soon. Feels weird. Feels very weird.